Hello and welcome along to the ProjectCars2 Virtual Racing League. Today we are joining the Xbox group as they continue their battles in the Touring Car Series Championship that we're running. Lots of rounds still to go. We've only done Snetterton so far. 2 races at each. If you're new to this, it's 2 races, 2 15-minute races. Qualifying for the first one and then a random grid for the second one. You have to make 1 pit stop between the 2 races, so you can choose whichever race you want to make your pit stop in, and that should really mix up the grid, and it certainly did at Snetterton as well. And 2 really close finishes at Snetterton, only about 0.1 seconds in them at each race on the line there for first and second, and hopefully we can expect more of the same today. It's Crazy Berry in the teams championship leading the way ahead of Scuderia Chris, Big Bad BDC, JB221, some great names going on down here. Alex and Roger, more conventional name. Loopy Gazelle down there as well, battling away with Alex WWK. That's Alex EDL and Stuart Davis in that one. So I think we can expect plenty of action here today at Silverstone, a legendary racetrack of course. We're not using the full layout here today, just a national one. So the old start-finish straight that Formula 1 used to use, and there's Manufacturers Drivers Championship as well up on the screen there. So we got Renault, Mercedes, Opel and BMW cars in the field there. Only a couple of the Mercedes there. Roger the Dodger's been going well low in that car, but the class of the field certainly at Snetterton anyway, and possibly going forward in the championship has been the Renault Megane. It's been very quick indeed, and Cherry Berry in that Renault is leading the way, but only by 3 points ahead of Scuderia Sam, who's in the BMW. Then you've got Subrosa in third, ahead of BTCC Dan, who loves the touring cars. D-Man, the Irishman, there in fifth. Roger the Dodger, Crazy Stupor, Luke McGee. It's so close all the way down the field, to be honest. But let's not forget, it's only been 1 round, and let's see if it's still so close after Silverstone today, because could be some big winners and some big losers from this one. Let's have a look at the starting grid then. So it's Alex EDL who's on pole position in that Opel, going really nicely there. Just ahead of Subrosa, well I say just ahead, half a second. That's a great lap time from our pole position king as he's known, Alex EDL. Going on to row 2 now. Scuderia Sam there, just misses out on second by a fraction of a second there. And then BTCC Dan in the green machine, the Renault, starting alongside him. Then we got row 3, Chris Doherty, a second off the pace there, just ahead of Cherry Berry, championship leader at the moment. Joe Brown in the Renault there. He missed the first race at Snetterton, but he's a very quick driver indeed, so expect lots from him today. D-Man alongside him, Roger the Dodger in the first of the Mercedes there, ahead of Crazy Stupor in the Renault. Then we got Stuart Davis in the bright orange machine, so the drivers certainly wouldn't miss that orange car coming today. Then the Scotsman, Loopy McGee, who's recently taken to the PS4 League as well, so he's doing 2 championships. Very busy man is Luke McGee now. Big Bad Wolf there alongside Free Gazelle, and then the Frenchman rounding out the order. So we're on the grid now and waiting for the lights to go out. And we're off here now at Silverstone, and it's Alex EDL who gets a great start, but look at the BMW coming through, an excellent launch off the line. Scuderia Sam is on the outside, Subrosa's on the inside. Scuderia Sam there gets pushed slightly wide, I think, by Alex EDL, who maintains the high ground. And then now coming down into the very fast couple of corners just before they go through to Maggots, they turn off then and go down the Wellington Straight. Hard braking now, also while turning at the same time, so you can expect plenty of chaos through here. Stuart Davis there finding himself in the battling trio, or how many cars are involved there, it's hard to say because they're all fighting away. Got a very big grid here today. Race control, drive-through penalty for Big Bad Wolf. Oh, and down the inside goes Scuderia Sam and Alex CDL there, hard on the brakes, and now BTCC down struggling around the outside too. Very lucky there that nobody got spun around, and Subrosa now on the inside, takes 2 cars in one by the looks of it, but now he's alongside the BMW. BTCC Dan's not giving up, he's having a look down the inside, and nearly gets put in the barrier there, but the BMW's away now, releasing that power down the straight. He's stuck in the slipstream of Alex CDL, who's managed to get away a little bit now, coming around Cox to complete lap 1. Alex, that was a great start. Oh, and BMW running slightly wide there, and that's Joe Brown, I think. Yes, Joe Brown up to second. Great start from Joe Brown there.
Yeah, but it's all done sideways there. Corrects it, just boots the throttle as Sam's going around the outside. Look back at looks like BTCC Dan now. Oh, colliding. Oh, that's massive. He's rolling, almost over into the barrier. It looks like 3 cars involved in that, and Subrosa's BTCC Dan set and won the green and white Astros. I think that's Chris Doherty. Looking at the time screen, yeah, Chris Butler down to 13th, so massive crash there for three of the favourites.
And Chris Doherty's been so unlucky getting involved in start crashes, hasn't he? And another one for Chris. It's a big hit for Chris there again. He's one of the favourites for the championship, though still. He's extremely fast. And BTC Sedan is also one of the favourites for the championship, so this could really open up the field to some of the others here. BTC Sedan was one of the winners at round 1 at Snetterton as well, having a great fight with Subrosa in that one. Chris Doherty, Subrosa, BTC Sedan under investigation for that, so we'll have to see what race control decide on that one, Alex. What's your take on it?
We'd have to see another camera angle because it was quite hard to see from back there. There's too many cars in front, but looks like close battling, just squeezed together, and they all kicked off as we go back to Subrosa and McQueen. I think they were all in pits, and BTC Sedan as well, all taking their pit stops early so that they don't have to take it in the second race.
Absolutely, yeah, so they're thinking already about race 2. So, anyway, the battle is still raging on here, and Joe Brown's got an absolute stormer of a start here, and he's got a really good inside line now, good traction on the inside of Alex EDL's Opel, who's not as strong on the straight as at the Opel as the Renault, and you see Joe there really aggressively saying, I'm going to take this first position, and Alex EDL taps it back, and he's nearly round, but really well held there by Alex, and he managed to stay in the fight, but Joe Brown is now leading the race, a great opening a few laps for him, but I think the battle will really be on now between him and Alex, with Scuderia Sam not far behind in that BMW, so if he gets a sniff down the straight, he could be past both of them in that. It's a lot of power in that BMW, isn't it?
Yeah, as you see, no further action for that big crash at the start. Must have just been a recent incident. As we see Alex and Joe battling. Joe has the inside. Will he break later? Looks like Sam's disconnect, which is unfortunate because he was pretty close, and Alex always on the grass. Joe's just shutting the door on him, but he's going wide for this bit. That Astra could really turn quite tight, as you can see there, and that's put Alex right alongside him as they bump in and barge in. They're rubbing door panels, and Alex on the inside, so he'll have a bit of an advantage, but the power of the Renault should bring Joe back alongside. Side by side in the first corner. Joe around the outside, that's a brilliant move to take that. Both can run onto the AstroTurf, that's fine. It was clarified to the drivers they can use that as they can do their own track limits essentially. But Alex in the Astra, really good on the brakes and trying around the outside now. He'll try onto the straight now, get along the side doing. But as we see here, the Renault's just a bit faster on the straight, has a bit more power. Joe covering, Alex going on the outside, brakes a bit later, let Joe's run wide. Oh, he's locked up and goes straight on, that allows Alex through.
Yeah, just a demonstration of how hard these two drivers are pushing here. They're breaking away from the field. Cherryberry there in third is no slouch, but these two have got such pace, haven't they? And you can see there, Joe Brown just went in a little bit too hot on the brakes, and that allowed Alex to get back through. But he tried to close the door on Alex on the pit straight, but Alex already had his foot through the door, didn't he? He said, no, I'm coming through on this one, and then Joe Brown did an excellent move around the outside of Pops there to retake the position. So I think we can expect this one to run, to be honest, and in these touring cars you can have a few little taps and get away with it, can't you, too? Which can't be said for the GT3s that we last ran in the last championship.
Yeah, GT3s are super sensitive. These are quite a bit better. So we see these two battling. Alex just ahead. Cherryberry, oh, that's a shame. BTC Dan disconnected as they've not gotten too far, but Joe's looking down the inside. Alex left the door open so he can do that, but Alex try around the outside. Enter all a bit sideways there. Joe gets a great move around the outside for his final corner, and he's in the lead, but Alex will use the slipstream and try and do what he did before, go around the outside for the first corner. So it's nip and tuck really between these two at the moment, and it's only lap 6.
And both these drivers desperately need these points as well, because as you see now, Stewport's close in on Cherryberry, and Roger Dodger as well close behind. So this is a battle forming here, isn't it? But Joe Brown and Alex Adele desperately needed points. Joe Brown missing one of the races at Snetterton, and Alex Adele disconnecting from another. And we've seen two drivers disconnect here today already. It does seem to be a bit of an issue, but if that happens, it's just treated in this championship, in this league, as like a sort of mechanical DNF, isn't it? And there's nothing we can really do about that, unfortunately. Once he disconnects it, hopefully they'll be back for the next race.
Yeah, hopefully they can reconnect. It's just unfortunate something that happens with online racing, but this was fantastic. Oh, into Stewpot, very sideways there, but momentum seems to be going alright, but it's put him on the grass, and then that's Roger with a very optimistic move. throwing it down the inside, nothing Stu could do, and will that bring looks like D-Man up with them. So this is looking like
D-Man.
looking like a good boy battle for third.
D-Man 221 is on the move. He's lined up the cars in front of him, and he's going to try and pick them off, just like Roger Dodge managed to pick off Crazy Stewpot there. Crazy Stewpot did nothing wrong, just a slight little move there on the back of the car as he was under braking, because we're all on the limit here, and Roger Dodge didn't need a second invitation, did he, to go through there. And Stewpot now is running wide a little bit more, and this is giving the Irishman, D-Man now, a little sniff of an opportunity as they head now onto the Wellington Straight, underneath that big Silverstone banner there. No mistaking what track you're at with that banner, is there? Stuart Davis in the background looks like he hasn't quite got the pace to close in on this group, and he's got, I think he's got, oh, it threw on the inside there. Alex Dale trying to forcefully manoeuvre, make a manoeuvre there on Joe Brown, and he's got the inside line once again now. He's not quite as far alongside him as he would have liked, and yeah, that power of the Renault now proving good on the straights, just pulling away slightly from the Opel. And you can see now side by side this is Cherry Berry and Roger Dodge. Roger Dodge's got the inside line down through Cops. Oh, and I think Cherry Berry just managed to brave it on the outside, did he? And that's D-Man going really wide too. Roger Dodge looks like he might have lost a bit of momentum coming out of Cops there, because Cherry Berry's ahead of him now. And side by side again goes D-Man and Crazy Stewpot. These guys are having an absolute time of their lives here, aren't they?
Yes, absolute brilliant fighting between the front two, and then third and fourth, and then fifth and sixth. There's nothing really to separate them at the moment, as Mercedes looks like he's going for a dive. Oh, Roger's close, pulls up, but I think Cherry Berry's just locked up a bit, so that's going to allow... Oh no, he's almost around. Great save by Roger, but that's put him in the grass, and he's going to be in the clutch of the Stu now in the BMW. Oh, not quite Stu's, just a bit too far back, but that's cost Roger third place now, as you see. Very close to the barrier there, D-Man. But he's got the inside line now for first corner. He should have it, unless Stewpot tries to go faster around the outside, which he is trying to do, but it's not quite worked. And Roger almost goes into the back of him there. That's so close. He just had to pull out and try to not hit the back of Stu. As you see Chris now down in 11th place, so after his unfortunate accident, just kind of on his own at the moment.
Yeah, he's got, where is he? He's in 9th, 10th, something like that. No, 11th. He's in 11th, Chris, so he's trying to make twos here, best he can, get as many points as he can, go over on that one. The main is pit stop though, so the next one he could prove very strong in the next race, not having to make that pit stop, whereas these guys are just going for maximum points in this race, aren't they? Alex Dale now, once again, looking at the back of that Renault. Joe hasn't managed to get away from him. So the pole position man Alex is still very much in the shout here, and they both look very even on pace, it has to be said too. And there's no sense here if one of them gets ahead that they're going to pull away particularly, because they're very close on pace indeed. You see hard on the brakes, that Opel is so good on the brakes, and Alex now trying to get a little bit of a switch back to try and get a good exit here and stick with the Renault in the slipstream, but it's so hard to be close and the braking's overlooks it for Alex.
Yeah, he's sort of having to avoid the Renault because the Astra is just so much better, but what's nice to see, especially after Snetton, is the Mercedes. Oh, Stu's got past Roger in the Mercedes, but it's nice to see that the Opels and Roger's Merc and the Sam's BMW, when it was running, can actually battle the Renault, so it's not going to be a runaway championship for the Renault.
Yes, very true actually, and yeah, all the different cars have a chance at winning at some point. Now we've seen Roger Dodge getting past Stuart there. Stuart, I did say earlier, he didn't quite have the pace to mix it with them. I take it back, I'm sorry Stuart, you have got the pace. It didn't look like it in practice or in the early stages, but that BMW looks like it's coming alive now, and rubbing wheels with the Mercedes, look at that! Rubbing wheels, trading paint, coming into Cops corner. Stuart Davis giving no pause, and Roger Dodge giving no pause. Stuart there is trying to find his way back to the track. He asks the marshal for directions, and he makes it back there before the 200-metre braking pause, and hard on the brakes once again. Roger Dodge has got a nice little cushion now over Stuart as they head onto the straight, and I think he'll be happy for that, knowing how fast that BMW is on the straight line. Who are they going past there? Is it a back marker? Yeah. I think it might be Rick Wynn.
Yeah, he pitted earlier, we saw him in the pit, so it's only a short track, so I'm not surprised that the front runners that will be lapping he gets out of the way of his Mercedes teammate. Ooh, and that's Mercedes really attacking the Stu for fifth, and looks like Stu's just dropped off a bit, whether he got held up by the back marker. But as we see him diving out, that's quite a late call. I think he's just had enough and wants a solid race. We see Stewport locking up. That's going to allow the Mercedes to get a run on him, as we see now closing up on the straight. Not too sure how good the Mercedes is on the straights. It's a bit hard to tell. He's got his lights on, not flashing, but looking, pulls out of it, but I think he's just there trying to spook Stewpot, and it seems to work because he closes right up again.
Yeah, Crazy Stewpot's been around a while now in this league, hasn't he? And he knows a trick or two about defending as well as overtaking. And Roger Dodge, he's one of the best overtakers in the business, is Roger Dodge in this league. We see him pull off some absolutely fantastic manoeuvres, especially in the GT3 league. Crazy Stewpot will be wise to that as well. So this is a really good, enticing battle here. Meanwhile, Luke McGee looks like he's followed through Stewart into the pit there, and Stewpot ran wide there, and this is give Roger Dodge and the Mercedes a chance on the inside line. Is he going to brake later? And Crazy Stewpot brakes just a little bit later, or is it too late? It looks like it. Yes, it is. And Crazy Stewpot has outbraked himself slightly, and now this is allowed Roger Dodge in front again. I can't even get my words out here, there's so much action. And Roger Dodge now has got a good run on the straight, but is Stewpot close enough to dive into the braking zone here? It looks like not quite this time round. Anyway, Roger Dodge takes a more conventional line through there, and he's managed to get up there into 5th position. But yeah, I was going to say Luke McGee looks like he's followed Stuart Davis into the pits, and that battle is going to go on as well, because he's been shadowing Stuart the whole race since Luke McGee.
Yeah, he probably just saw that Stu's bitten, and so he might be able to get past him in the second race. But look at this, Alex is closed up on Joe all over again. It's looks like there's only a couple of laps left, so he's really going to have to get it done if he's going to pass Joe. But he's got Loopy, McGee and his teammate Stu up ahead. There's another warning for McQueen. Oh, Alex up the inside, he's trying. It's a bit sideways there. Joe gets the inside line. Alex will try the outside. He's trying. Joe leans on a bit, but it forces Alex a bit wide. Alex will keep on the brake, and they're hitting. But Alex on the outside, so Joe will have the inside here. Shorter route around the corner. Alex can use the Astro Head slipstream. You have to wonder if Lupa gets away. Yeah, Lupa gets out of the way nicely, and it looks like Alex is pushing that McGann, just trying to get him to make a mistake. It was so close racing.
I have to say that was very clever there. If it was intentional, I'm not sure, but Joe used Loopy a little bit to box Alex in there. Alex had the slipstream, but he couldn't use it when he got to the corner because he was boxed in by Loopy McGee. So if that was intentional by Joe, that was quite clever actually, that one. But yeah, Alex not giving up the fight yet. So he's all over the back of Joe, and this is going to be, whoever wins this one, it's going to be well deserved. So what's it like for the... Obviously they're not in the car, it's only virtual, but what is it like for the drivers when they're engaged in such a race lawn type battle like this as Joe gets a bit out of shape?
Pretty intense, the harder you go in, even though it is virtual, and they'll want to win like as if it's a real race. I think Joe's just got the measure of Alex here, even if Alex is the slipstream. Ooh, it's close over the line, and yes, Joe's just got it.
Yeah, and you can see race control there saying race is finished, so that's good confirmation for us commentators, because it's not always easy to see the checkered flag, is it? And but yeah, great race between the two of them there. Absolutely hats off to them, and well done to Joe as well. I think that might be his first win in the league, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex.
Yeah, I believe it is his first win, as Chris has a bit of fun in the background there. But yeah, I believe that is Joe's first win, so congratulations to Joe.
Yeah, great racing all round, and Cherryberry picking up valuable points there as well. He was the championship leader heading into this race, and interesting to see where he is after it, because he's certainly getting some decent points in, and we saw him leading the GT3 standings recently too, so it looks like he's adapted well to these cars in that Renault as well. D-Man there in 4th, Roger Dodge coming back to 5th after falling down a little bit down the order, but he got back there ahead of Crazy Stewpot. Free Gazelle in 7th position. That must be Free Gazelle's best finishing position so far, I reckon. Just ahead of Subrosa, Stuart Davis, Luke McGee, Chris Doherty, Rickwin and Big Bad Wolf. And we had 2 non-finishers in BTCC Dan and Scuderia Sam. That was a good race, that one, Al.
Yeah, brilliant. It was a race, battles all over the place from 1st to 6th. And yeah, like you said, brilliant finish for Free Gazelle. I don't think he pitted that race, as we see a few replays. This will be Alex.
It's some new funky music.
Yeah, this is. I think this is the old Toka race game music, but this is the Sam and Alex battling away, and this is the crash between Rosa, BTCC Dan and Chris. Yeah, it looked like they just all hooked up, got across of it, and away they went.
Yeah, and then lap 2 here, a bit of reversing high-speed action by the looks of it. I know these drivers are skilled, I don't know they were that skilled. And this is Scuderia Sam probably not seeing the Renault there, trying to close the door and realising there was a car there and going, oops. And that's BTCC Dan, very hot on the brakes, a little bit too hot. Burning some rubber, spinning round slightly, but just about held it. But yeah, going on to the straight side by side again, just in the slipstream there of the BMW. Also on lap 2 here, it all kicked off, didn't it, in this bit here, in this section. 3 of the favourites.
Yeah, to see 3 of the favourites and Dan absolutely fun, which is pretty unfortunate, but it can all change now in race 2. Like you said earlier, random qualifying, and here we see who's pitted and who hasn't, and there's quite a few that need to pit in the second race.
It was quite interesting as well, we saw this in the first round, and we were wondering how this was going to go with only pitting in one of the races, and it turns out that it's quite an even split of drivers, isn't it? You can see on the screen there, it's pretty even. A few more drivers need to pit in this race than the first one, but it's more or less even. Down the grid now, and again, nice clean getaway, and the BMW storming down the inside now. Scuderia Sam, and Roger closes the door. Oh, in the barrier slightly there. Oh, that was a tight squeeze, and that's disadvantaged both of them because Alex CDL and Stewport have gone into first and second position. Cherryberry's now in third as well. D-Man up to fifth. Roger George fourth. Free Gazelle is up to sixth. A great start from him. And Joe there, previous race winner, is in 8th at the moment. It's all tumbling the order at the moment. Oh, and a bit of argy-bargy stuff going on there. Free Gazelle getting his elbows out, I think, on one of the Renaults. There'll be a little bit of trading paint going on there. Down now the Wellington straight they go. There's Cherryberry having a look on Chris Stewport. Oh, and like 4 abreast as well behind that. It's incredible. I don't know who's involved there, but let's see who comes out of it. And going round now the last corner, Scuderia Sam on the attack on D-Man there by the looks of it, but he's got company as well in the shape of Joe, the previous race winner. Cherryberry now is in 4th, Roger George is on the move, he's in 3rd. It looks like he's having a little nibble at Stewport's heels as a head across the line now. Great start that one. Oh, Alex CDL decides he doesn't like that braking board.
As another one goes in the back, and there's you see Cherryberry, a few of the drivers using the Astrif, and one going a bit further again. But the field's so close at the moment. But let's remember they got a pit, and heavy braking. That's looks like Roger and Stewport battling away with Cherryberry just behind them. Super close there, and Sam going extremely wide, and that's allowing a few cars go on the inside. A couple of one Astra, and I think that's Joe's Renault. So Joe's going well, but this is quite a big pack. It's a big dive there from Cherryberry. That's very brave. Stu locking up a bit, going on the grass. He's really wide, coming back on track. That might allow Cherryberry to go around the outside. Indeed it does. He's trying. Will he get the drive out of the corner? Yeah, just about. A bit of a wiggle on, and looks like half the field are pitting.
It does a bit, doesn't it? I think the first 7 of the drivers are very close. Look at that coming into the pits. Cherryberry was trying to get a nice cheeky overtake there. It'd be interesting to see how that pays out in the pits though, because obviously some of the drivers can get held up in the pits if there are drivers behind them in the pit box coming past, can't they? We've seen that happen before, and that's Luke McGee drifting it a little bit. He's been doing a lot of rally games recently, and looks like he's carrying that through to the touring cars here today too. And that's side-by-side action now between the BMW Scuderia Sam and who's that? Joe Brown, I think, in the Renault, and that's BTCC Dan. So it's going to be 3 abreast now as they go down the Wellington straight, Alex.
Yeah, we can't see the cars to the right, unfortunately, but they'll be right alongside him. We see Roger inheriting the lead up front. Oh, and a bit of touching in. That's Joe extremely sideways, well held, and Dan bumping again. And then you got Wolf in the background there, in the bright blue and yellow Astra, so he'll be fighting. Oh, Joe off into the ground, and who's that pitting? Oh, I think that's Sam gone into the pits. Yeah, Sam's dived into the pits, and so's Joe. Quite cheekily dived in front of Wolf, so Wolf won't be too happy with that, because we would have had to slow down.
Yeah, it's just off screen unfortunately, but that looks like it was going to be an absolutely huge crash for a second, didn't it? And Chris Doherty made his pit stop in the first one. He's up to, look at him getting promoted up the order now. Chris is up to 7th now at the moment, the Irishman. Going very nicely indeed in the, he's in the Opel, isn't he, I think?
Yeah, he's in the Opel Astros. We see Alex in a different livery car. I think he's inherited the orange scheme of his teammate, so his teammate can actually see him this time, so they didn't hit each other, and it seems to be working. But he's down in 11th place as he passes... 10th place now as he passes Joe and Scuderia Sam, who are just coming out of the pits, it seems. Yeah, you see them, they're just coming out of the pits just ahead of Stewpot, so that seems to have worked for him. They've got the undercut.
Yeah, that worked quite well there for the BMW, but let's see if we can keep Stewpot behind now on this one. And riding on board with Crazy Stewpot, coming down the road. There's a cone there, don't know where that came from. Alex EDL's throwing cones now by the looks of it. But let's see how much pace these three drivers have got, of course, because they've made their pit stops now, quite early in the race. There's a lot of the race left to go. Interesting to see how high up they can get, because we've got Roger there, hasn't made his pit stop yet. BTCC Dan, he disconnected the first one, but luckily for him, he did make his pit stop in the first race, didn't he? So he is genuinely fighting for the lead right now up there, and he's in a great position as well with Roger George needing to pit. So BTCC Dan could be odds on for the win here, you know, Alex. But Scuderia Sam, who also disconnected, hadn't made his pit stop in the first race, so he had to pit in this one, and that's really compromised his round, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely compromised him, which is unfortunate, really. But these things happen, as we see Brad Wolf up in 3rd place and defending hard from Sabrosa, which is allowing Stu and the BMW to keep with them. It looks like Sabrosa going for the cutback, and it seems to be working. It's a bit late for Wolf to defend as nose was up on the inside. Goes very wide line there, and that's really allowed Sabrosa up on the inside, so you'd have to say Sabrosa will get this done in this first corner. Yeah, he's ahead, and good move that was pretty much planned 3 corners back.
Yeah, it's a good point, Alex, and you can do that at this track, can't you? You can definitely try and orchestrate and manoeuvre a few corners in advance. That's Big Bad Wolf running a little bit wide now by the looks of it, unless that's just his line through there, I'm not sure. Yeah, really talked about Big Bad Wolf, it feels like, much this round so far, but he's really in the thick of the action here, and he's got Stuart Davis now closing in on the BMW, so that should be a good little battle as well.
Yeah, we didn't really see, like I said, didn't really see much of Wolf. He had a drive-through penalty in the first race, and so he pitted again, so he was pretty much out the race. I think he got lapped after the 3rd lap, so he's concentrating on this one, you'd have to say, and he's up in 4th, so good position for him as we see Joe down in 13th, race 1 winner, being chased by D-Man and Cherry Berry, so won't be envious of Joe's position, especially with Stewart just ahead of him, so that's a tricky little pack he's found himself in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is really going to be elbows out stuff here, because you can see them all lined up now. They're all sizing each other up, waiting for it all to kick off, and you can just see it, can't you? And I think Cherry Berry's got a lot of pace, as have all of these drivers. We've seen Cherry Berry's pace. He's been leading the championship, and Joe Brown as well from race 1. His target today, it must be to try and get close to Alex, or at least the position after Alex, maybe ahead of Scuderia Sam, something like that, because those guys had so much pace in race 1, it'd be very surprising not to see them move up through the field a little bit.
Yeah, the race 1 pace, I don't think I mentioned the fastest laps, but those guys were doing 57 dead and 57.5, so well ahead of what we expect usually, and as most of the drivers are doing 58, so you can see on the board at the moment, so those guys definitely have a lot of pace in those two cars. We see BTCC Dan on board, bumper cam, steering at Roger just ahead. He's not too far away now, but I wonder if he's playing it safe knowing Roger will have to pit.
Yeah, possibly. I think BTCC Dan, of course, he would have the pace, I think, to challenge Roger. He loves these cars, does BTCC Dan, and despite recent speculation, he isn't French, he's actually Welsh. But in the practices, he's turned up a bit French. But anyway, he's in the green machine and he's looking at winning this one. But he has got Subrosa, his nemesis from one of the races at Snetterton, bearing down on him, and he's only a few seconds back is Subrosa. So that could be a battle to watch out for in the closing stages, especially when Roger Dodger pits as well. But it doesn't look like BTC Dan's getting held up too much at the moment anyway. But anyway, look, the battle of the identical Renaults now. Joe Brown and Crazy Stewpot. Looks like Joe Brown's just made his way past Stewpot there.
Yeah, I think just one of them went quite wide in the first corner. I think it just compromised him, and it looks like... Let's have a look. Yeah, Joe's gotten through. So he'll be... using the clear now, try and get some fast laps and try and catch the BMW Scuderia Sam, and then, like you said, try and hook onto Alex, but Alex seems to have taken off a bit from Sam. They were quite close, but that Astra's got some pace around here, it seems.
Yeah, he's just pulling away by the looks of it, and barring any mistakes, I don't think Scuderi Sam can really challenge Alex there. It looks like he's stuck in 10th at the moment. They've got Rickwin just up ahead. His lap time's a little bit off the guys in the chasing pack, so there might be time to catch him for these guys, which would be very tasty indeed if that happens. But yeah, at the moment they're all focused on each other, aren't they? This is really where the battles are at the moment. Further up we've got Chris Doughty, who is catching Big Bad Wolf, and he's only a couple of seconds behind, so that could kick off as well. And Loopy McGee in 7th, he made his pit stop in race 1. He'll be looking to try and get up to where Stewart is if he can, because they were very close in the first race. And now this is a battle. Look at this now, BTC Sedan versus Sabrosa. So this is a lot sooner than we were expecting. Sabrosa has caught BTC Sedan, and Roger has pitted. So this is game on now for the race win.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where Roger comes at as well. I think he's just come out ahead of Alex. No time screw is falling behind. So you see Sabrosa closing in nicely on BTC Dan's flick of the brakes there. Just trying to get the car in. It almost like he stopped on the line then. Sabrosa seems like that Formula 1 line of going wide and then cutting back and get straight in the car and get on the power. It seems to be working, but he'll have the slipstream now. But Dan's a hard defender, so he won't make this easy. You can see he's sort of lining the car up to defend just in case. Comes back onto the proper line. Both the cars seem a bit loose for that first bit, and Sabrosa looking on the outside. He'll be lining up onto this first corner, but Dan will have the inside for the cutback onto the straight. Looking like Sabrosa trying to get a tight line for that cutback. But good defended by Dan there. This is a close little battle.
And I think if you ask Sabrosa to close his eyes and sketch the back of a green Renault, I think he'd be very good at sketching the back of BTC Sedan's car after Snetterton as well. He was stuck behind him an awful long time there, wasn't he? And BTC Sedan just across the line just managed to nick that win off him. But yeah, Sabrosa, I think for him it's personal now. He really wants to get past this green Renault and show that he can overtake and really challenge for this championship, and be really interested to see what happens. And this is a good little battle. Look at this, the Frenchman Rick Wynn now. They have caught him already. Roger Dodge get pushed on the grass there slightly. And who's that just ahead? I think that's Joe Brown in the Renault as well. So this is a good little fight. It is for position, of course. So Rick Wynn now is in 10th, and Roger Dodge just moves past, demotes into 11th. And Roger Dodge trying to stick back on the back here of Joe. And this squabbling here is allowing Scuderia Sam to pull away a little bit. That's Alex EDL. What's happened to Alex EDL? He's dropped behind Scuderia Sam now.
Possibly made a mistake. It's hard to say. We were concentrating on the lead battle, so must have had a spin or something like he usually does in the GT3. But Alex will be chasing Sam back down. Now try and get... Oh, he's almost around. Takes the grass onto the pit straight. That's very, very lucky there. I think he just didn't expect the speed of the BMW to be a lot less than that Astra's. The Astra's really strong on the fast corners, and that's where he seems to be catching everything. But if we really put in Sam under pressure, what's quite interesting as well, these guys pitted, they're catching Loopy McGee up in 6th, so he could be under threat.
Yeah, it's only a few seconds up the road is the Scotsman, Loopy McGee, the flying Scotsman. And this is really interesting now. There's a little train forming behind this BMW. Alex Cidiello, he's got such pace. He was pulling away by whatever mistake he made. He clearly must have been a mistake that he made somewhere. And he's all over the back of Scuderia Sam. It'll be interesting to see how hard he actually defends this one. It looks like he is defending. Alex Cidiello looking down the inside, thinks better of it this time. And Scuderia Sam really takes a shallow line through there, but it's run wide. It hasn't worked for him this time. He didn't set up the car quite right, and Alex Cidiello I think is going to go through. The cameraman was too busy looking at the Armco, but I think Alex Cidiello's got through there. Now look, battle for the lead now. Sabrosa getting pushed a little bit wide. He tried to go around the outside of BTC Sedan there. BTC Sedan was having none of it, and then decided to little elbow nudge on Sabrosa saying get out of it, and Sabrosa says, oh don't worry, I'll have you at the next corner.
Yeah, it's close. The lights are on now, so you know Sabrosa means business when they come on. Usually he's flashing them.
Yeah.
But looks like he's got a good run. It's quite an interesting Armco apparently. But BTC Dan just ahead. Oh, it looks like he just braked a bit later. That's allowing Sabrosa to get that tighter line on him and line up for the last set of corners. That's right, he's not using the slipstream. Dan will be weaving now, try and get him out of that slipstream. Not weaving as much as you'd think, but I think he's concentrating on the corner. So Rosa's slightly deeper on the brakes, so you really see him catch up. Try not to hit him. Will he make it? Just tap him, get him out of the way. Yeah, just taps him, goes on the inside. Nothing Dan can do there, and he's got the inside line, so Sabrosa takes the lead.
That was inch perfect from Sabrosa, I have to say. BTC Sedan probably thinks he got pushed a little bit wide there perhaps, but on the line now. This is the race finish, so I think he's won. Yes, he has, just across the line there. And both flashing their lights, and I think they enjoyed that one by the looks of it. And Sabrosa slightly more. He managed to get the win there. Right on the last corner, the last chance he had, he managed to go for it and get it, so well done. And they were a long way ahead of Chris Dawsey there in third in the chasing pack. Big Bad Wolf, an excellent fourth ahead of Stuart Davis, and great points for him in fifth there. Luke McGee sixth, Alex CDL. Joe Brown looks like he got past Scuderia Sam on the final lap there. And Rog Dodge in 10th. Look at this action here. D-Man just coming ahead of the Frenchman Rick Wynn there. And Cherry Berry alongside Crazy Stewpot as they headed onto that straight. But Stewpot looked like he didn't get a great exit of the last corner there. And Cherry Berry seems quite happy there with that position. And Free Gazelle rounding up the order. And yeah, it was a pretty frantic race that was, and a great battle for the lead. And that makes it an average gap between first and second in the first four races we've had. 0.15 of a second, Alex. That's about the same time it takes to blink.
That's crazy. It really shows the level of the drivers that they can race that close and that hard and not cause any incidents. But it's proven to be a fantastic series so far.
Yeah, so close. It's anyone's guess, to be honest. I mean, my money's on the top three there, to be honest. Any one of those top three, or any of them from top 16 actually, could still win it. It's a long way to go, but those three are looking very quick indeed. Alex CDL, of course, with a disconnect, and Scuderia Sam with a disconnect as well. They got some ground to make up. Let's have a look at the race start now. It looks like someone was smoking a little bit. This is on board from Scuderia Sam.
What a fantastic start by Sam, and then unfortunately just got blocked off by the Mercedes of Roger there. Didn't realise, and then hit again for good measure. That really slowed him up and allowed the other cars to go around the outside. So really unfortunate. He could have been leading from the first corner.
Yeah, a lot of promise at the start there, but ended up not working out. And this is the very fast cameraman looking at Big Bad Wolf's very fast yellow and blue and white car, and going around Cops there to see what happens to Big Bad Wolf. He's getting in the thick of the action, isn't he? This car's all the way around him. As a driver going into turn one, you're just reacting to what's happening around you, aren't you, at this stage?
Yeah, there's a bit of a lock-up up ahead, and looks like he's kept his nose clean as we see the Gazelle weaving about. So, yeah, it's quite interesting to see. It was quite a clean start compared to the first race where he got a drive through and touching, I think that's Joe's car. So he got himself in a good position. Great overtake around the outside. As you see, I think that's D-Man's Astra just going sideways.
Yes, another view on board now. I think this is Free Gazelle, quite possibly. The BMW, he had quite a good start, didn't he?
Yeah, fantastic start by Free Gazelle. He seems to be really nailing these. He's proven at Snetton as well, getting some fantastic start and really putting himself into contention for the top 10 finishes.
Yeah, and he's getting some good points along with it too, and get his elbows out as well. That's Chris Dodds, he nearly taken out the cameraman. Didn't see that live, did we? That's a very hairy moment there for Chris Doherty. Looks like he just got a little bit sideways while battling with BDC Sedan. Decides to floor it in the end and get back on the circuit as quick as he could. Just ahead of Sabrosa by the looks of it there. This is on board from Chris. This is another incident actually from Chris. This is with Luke McGee, so that's why Luke McGee lost time to Stuart Davis in the end. I was wondering why he was so far behind him. That's why that happened by the looks of it. It's tricky though, isn't it, that corner when you go side by side? It's very easy to do that, and this is Alex CDL losing time.
Well, that must be the reason Sam passed him. Or not. But yeah, it's really tricky. Chris in the wars, so we have to hope his luck continues. And this looks like the winning overtake, because he just later on the brakes there was a bit of a gap there, and that wasn't going to stop Sabrosa from taking it and taking the win.
Yeah, BDC Sedan didn't put a foot wrong in terms of defence there, apart from the last corner, a tiny gap, and Sabrosa put his foot through the door, and yeah, that's what wins races in the end, isn't it? Small margins like that. But I think they will resume their battle. I'm just looking at Alex CDL battling over with Scuderia Sam there. That's him getting past. And that's Joe Brown getting past Scuderia Sam in the back. So this is coming up to the line, I think, as well. So it was a very close finish between those three.
Yeah, it was,
so overall driver stand-ins now. It's still very close, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, really close. Sabrosa now takes the lead from Charivari in second. But it's all changed, really. There's drivers in all sorts of new positions. As you see, BTC Dan in third, D-Man fourth, Joe Brown up in fifth, Roger in sixth, Chris in seventh, and then even though disconnect in the first race, Scuderia Sam in eighth, ninth for Loopy, and Alex has shot up to 10th place with 62 points.
Yeah, and Crazy 2 Big Bad World, Stuart Davis, Free Gazelle, Rick Wynn. Alex Brown wasn't with us for this one, but you've still got a couple of points to show for it. So a great tight packed field there, and pretty much any one of those drivers could win any one of these races. That's how open this championship is. I'm not just saying that, it's a great drama. That's genuinely how it is, Alex, isn't it? It's such a close championship. And Sabrosa is the lead in Renault at the moment. D-Man is the lead in Opel. Roger is leading Mercedes, and Scuderia Sam is still the lead in BMW there, ahead of Stuart Davis. So, yeah, I mean, all the cars are relatively even, and the next track we go to is Hockenheim. So, what can we expect there, do you think?
Hopefully more clean racing, hopefully closer finishes. Again, it's not the full Hockenheim, I think it's national circuits. You see the team championship, there's Crazy Barry leading by 4 points from JB221. Third place for Bad PTCC with 167. They're closely followed by Scuderia Chris. Sabrosa Messine with 114, being chased by Alex WK by 2 points, and then Loopy Gazelle with 88 and Alex Roger with 74.
Yeah, and I'm sure Alex and Roger will be hoping to catch up to Loopy Gazelle at the next race, as will all of them. So join us next time for hopefully some more great action, and hopefully some more great close finishes between first and second as well. I just can't wait to see what happens in this Touring Car Championship. It's probably the most open championship we've ever run in this league. So don't forget to subscribe and join us next time. See you there.